Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to my channel here at Horsepower Warehouse. Since I have last talked with you guys, a lot has occurred. In fact, a hurricane hit. Hurricane Ian actually swept through. Luckily, both of our facilities made it through unscathed. My house, not so much. Luckily, it didn't float away, so I'm not complaining. But I am super happy to have you guys back so I can show you some updates of what's been going on here at the shop. I have not stopped working. I've been going back and forth every time I have an insurance adjuster or a roofer out at my house. I've been shooting there and shooting right back at the shop. So I'm working 6 days a week continuously. I really am proud of my work, and it's hard to keep me away from here, as you guys can probably imagine. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys are ready to see some new stuff. So first and foremost, you'll notice that we have a new enclosed trailer here next to my race car trailer, and Boss Man's boat has a new engine sitting behind it. I asked previously if you guys wanted any updates or content relating to putting that 383 mag into Boss Man's boat, and you guys specifically told me no. So we are going to pass on that. Just in the same fashion that we are going to pass on buying this ZR1 for me personally, since I now need a new roof and I have a ton of property damage. So this would not fit terribly good in a damaged home. It's going to Mecum upcoming in January. So thank you guys so much that actually showed me support and pushed with me to try to get Senior to buy me that car. It was a valiant effort, but unfortunately a failed one. We'll move on. We'll find another car, probably something that's more appropriate for the channel. You can see I got my side-by-side getting ready to get it out of here. Little known fact, I actually do own a Duramax. I never drive it because it's a $70,000 truck, and I just, in my soul, can't bring myself to daily drive a vehicle that expensive. I've put 3,000 miles on it in the time that I've owned it, over 2 years now. So that tells you it sits in the garage and is pampered. I just can't bring myself to drive that. I have my Tacoma that I love. Here's Senior's. Senior, on the other hand, has put 34,000 miles on this one, and he put 16,000 miles on mine before it was transferred over to my ownership. So Senior is not afraid of driving the Duramaxes at all. But you know, I guess that's his prerogative. You can see our line of C2s is looking fantastic. I want to direct you to the attention of this one. The 65 black on black on black is nearing completion. It's got to go to the top shop and it's got to get in alignment. You'll notice that the wheels are not the ones that are going to be on the car, or the final wheels. It's getting knockoffs. But man, this car just really, really sharp. It screams class to me. I like the black on black. Personally, I'm kind of digging the red line bias plies on it too. But this gentleman wants radials, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check on that before I go ahead and mount them, but I think he's getting red line radials on knockoffs. But just a really, really nice build. I'm happy with how it came out. It looks good. Aftermarket AC is in there. Power steering, power brakes, fully loaded car. So yeah, I'll be excited to get this back from alignment so I can actually drive it. That's when the shakedown process happens. That's when we actually, you know, work the AC through its cycles, work the engine through. Of course, everything's rebuilt. This was a frame off. We didn't do the paint job on it because, as you can see, I mean, it's like really, really nice. It would have been a shame to strip all that paint off just to repaint it again in something that looks, you know, a couple steps better, but I mean, at arguably a huge cost. So I really am happy with where this car has come, and I hope the customer will be as well. Let's go on through. You can see the shop has changed. It has changed a lot, guys. So let's work our way through. First and foremost, you will notice there's a lot more room. I had a discussion with Senior. He said, hey, Junior, you know, we were slammed here. What can I do to help you? No one's in trouble. He's not trying to increase efficiency, he's trying to increase capacity. He's trying to help me do more. Right now, I'm full wide open, I'm slammed. Sean is working as hard as he can, so it's hard to get more efficiency out of someone that's working as hard as they can. But it is easy to increase capacity, to give them better tools, to give them more room, and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm going to show you guys today, how we are working to increase capacity here, because the number one complaint I have is not my work quality, it's not my craftsmanship, it's that Junior can't get to your car for a year plus. That's number one. We get almost a daily phone call of someone that is disappointed because we tell them we are 1, 2 years or plus booked out. Now, with that being said, I'm a car guy. I'm a business guy and I'm a car guy. I love doing this. I could have chose to do anything. I don't have to build classic cars. If you guys know me personally, I have a bachelor's degree in something that does not apply to this at all. So I chose this, and it's because I love it. So what I want to do is do the builds that I love. As a result, it sounds kind of stupid, I guess, to say, but I want to have a say in the builds that I do. If you want to do a complete frame-off restoration on a car or build a really killer resto mod, I would much rather do that than do endless oil changes and brake jobs. I'm sure you guys could understand where I'm coming from. It's a lot easier for you as a customer to find someone to do your oil change versus find someone to do the entire frame-off restoration on your car to a standard that is crazy. And that's kind of what I told myself too. So I got to keep my shop open for the cool builds. If you want to put, and I'm not a prima donna, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. If you want to do a resto mod, 63 split window with a Cummins, you want to paint it Barney purple with a lime green interior, I'm listening. I'm like, oh, I like the obscure. I just want to talk with you about how we're going to achieve that. I don't want to skimp on suspension components or brake components, or there's a lot that you can overlook in a build, and that's my favorite part of it, is nitpicking all the details, so to speak. That's why I love the resto mod deal, is because everything's in the air. We can build what you dream, but the question is, do you know what it's going to take to achieve that reality? So yeah, I don't even know why I'm kind of ranting to you guys here, but that is my focus for this shop, is keep myself available for the cool builds. And by the way, if you have a complete frame-off restoration or you want to build a really killer resto mod, horsepowerwarehouse@aol.com is my direct email. So if you guys don't want to go through the standard channels of the business, you can always contact me directly, horsepowerwarehouse@aol.com. I'm always able to answer questions. I mean, I have people kind of all the time asking me, weird stuff like electric vehicle conversions. Why haven't I done an EV Corvette? That might be a future episode, but I've had a lot of those kind of conversations. The 65 Coupe here, my red, still has the heads off of it there at Steve Keach. He's going to completely go over the cylinder heads. We found that the valves were just not to our liking, so ripped off the heads. He's going to rebuild both. It's on my pressure washing lift now. We are going to clean the bottom. You can see we have an ACC carpet kit and a box full of parts here. So this is getting geared up and ready to be worked on. My 64, we now have all of the fiberglass repair parts, thank God. I mean, I was going through the ringer with trying to get the fiberglass stuff to actually correctly repair this. Go figure, I light up this YouTube camera and I start talking silly. I did not realize the scope of how damaged this body was initially. Now, of course, that we've got the body off the frame, we can see the full deal here, but I don't want to remove the top off of this because right now that is supporting the rear end. If I were to cut that top loose, I don't know how much fiberglass is actually holding that rear end, supporting it, and I am afraid to release it because I don't want to cause any further damage. So that's how damaged that car is. It's a lot. So I'm going to go through the ringer in getting the correct rocker under that, doing all the fiberglass repair in a way that it was stronger than what was available in the 60s. 3M panel bond was not a thing back then. You can see my 62 Fuelie. This car was over here under the cover for quite some time while we got a parts lot together. You can see it had a complete paint job. The paint looks fantastic. It was not wet sanded and buffed yet, so this car has not been cut, but yeah, it's really, really great. I love the black. Man, the black with the red is really a good look on this 62. And of course, this is a Fuelie, so it's the top dog. So I'm excited to get on this. My customer's Nassau here. As you can see, I did do the windshield frame, but I don't want to talk too much about this car today because this car deserves its own episode. I've put so much work into this and it's coming out so nice that I have to devote a full 10 minutes to just talking about how I'm going about the interior process on this. And as you guys know, it's already back from paint. It had the frame off. It's got a complete roller with a rebuilt engine, transmission, rear end, so on and so forth. But there's a lot more to it than just what you see, so to speak. So I need to walk you guys through that. I want to tell you why my restorations cost what they cost, how in depth I go, and it's in depth, rest assured. My 67, 427 tri-power. I'm not even going to talk about that this time because we were running out of time, and oh man, it would be a shame not to show you what the thumbnail was. Check it out. This is a 1963 split window. It's on the rotisserie. This car actually was delivered to me by the owners during the hurricane. They drove from the opposite side of the United States. So I'm in South Florida. They're like the opposite corner of the United States. They drove the 4-day journey here during Hurricane Ian. I literally got off of my roof. I was talking to an insurance adjuster, scrambled here to let them in with their trailer in this car. So they made the journey. They're in the right spot for this car. So happy to introduce you guys to this. You can see now a parts lot came with this car, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to blow everything apart because I'm not happy with the finish on everything. Just for instance, let's grab this piece here. You can see how it's shiny in some spots and dry in others. I like powder coat. The reason I like powder coat is because it's very durable, number one. And number two, it's a lot easier to get a consistent finish. If you have a professional powder coater, the coat literally, it's electrostatically applied. They spray it in the air and it grabs to the part. So it makes for a really smooth finish, and it makes it so it's hard to kind of get dry spots unless you really don't know what you're doing. I am arguably, I'm in between anal and crazy with the paint jobs. So it's difficult for me to find a painter. That's why I've employed my own. And powder coat, it seems like with all my parts, I can get a consistent finish that I am genuinely happy with every single time. So that's why I do powder coat on all my parts. Something I did get from the parts lot, I saw two things that I'm happy about. The Evercoat vet panel for the SMC. So this is the correct adhesive filler that you're gonna wanna use when you're putting things like bonding strips and so on and so forth in one of these Corvettes. But also, SPI, man, this is a guy of culture and class. Check out that, a full kit, white epoxy. This is what I use anyhow. So for me to see this in the box, it almost brought a tear to my eye. I was like, man, this guy, he did a good job. He did his research. Now you'll notice something here. There's flares, all four, and they were done in a way that I'm not completely happy with. So I'm going to play with these a little bit. But the flares stay, guys. The flares are going to stay. The owners of this vehicle requested specifically, hey, Junior, I know we're going against the grain here, but we want to keep the flared fenders on this car. So we're going to find a wheel and tire set that matches the flared fenders. This is much to the dismay of Senior. Senior says, oh my gosh, you're going to take $100,000 off the value of this car by leaving those flares on it. Well, here's the reality. This car is being built so that it can be passed down to the family to be enjoyed. They're going to drive, I hope they drive the crap out of this car. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm here to help you achieve your dreams. You have a dream car, I want to build it. So if you want a flared fendered 63, by golly, I'm gonna build you the best flared fender 63 that I can. So I'm not here to judge you or tell you what your dreams should be. Isn't this a really cool perspective of the inside of a C2 with it sideways like that? I probably stood here for 10 minutes and just kind of messed around and disassembled stuff because it's such a neat perspective. Of course, I have more stuff to take apart here. And you can see I'm still nitpicking at it. This car was, by the way, when it came here, it was level and completely packed full of parts. There was broken glass in here, bent trim, rotten headers, you name it. They had a complete parts lot for me here. Probably 70% of it is unusable, but I'm not complaining at all, guys. I'm thankful, actually, that they brought me everything. So, I mean, that's exactly what I ask for of my customers. If you have it sitting around in your garage, just bring it, pack it up in the trailer. Even if I'm not going to use it, I would like to inspect it and see if it's a usable part, because a lot of this stuff can get expensive. Also, what they left for me was a really cool packet of papers, all of the receipts of everything that they had done, including when they purchased this car in 1976 for $5,800, $5,800. The gentleman bought this in Washington in 1976. So it was really neat for them to leave that paper and to kind of show me the story of this car. I'm excited to build it. Here's the chassis that came with it. It was painted in whatever all of this was painted in. I don't know if it's an SPI product. It is rock hard and it is glossy, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So we're going to do my traditional powder coated satin. Yeah. So, oh, and we can't forget the 59 here. This thing is, by the way, ZZ4 motor, Tremec, Art Morrison rear with a 9-inch, coilovers. These are not the wheels that are staying on the car. Custom interior, as you can see, it's got the custom pinstriping. This car is gonna be wicked. I'm really excited about it. Side draft Webers. So I'm not gonna pop the hood because you guys you have to subscribe, like, and continue watching, but we do have some neat parts that are earmarked to go on that car. So I thank you guys so much for joining me. I apologize, we're at 17 minutes. This is almost double what I traditionally like to present to you guys. There's not a lot of YouTubers that are walking around for 17 minutes and presenting to you uncut, unedited content. I'm still not that comfortable walking around talking in front of a camera with no feedback, but I realize the importance of showing you guys what's going on here. So thank you so much for staying with me for almost, gosh dang, 20 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, take care.